What is going on? It is Wednesday night. I'm your host, Steve V. You are watching and listening as this show is repackaged to Tags Live. Talk about gay sex, the live version. We're doing 2 live shows going on. This is episode 238. We are on our platform, Get Vocal, a part of the network that happens every Wednesday night. And I am joined alongside Cody Maurice Doggett. How are you?
Hello, darling. I'm doing well. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really good. In a week that we went live video-based twice.
Yeah.
We celebrated our 4-year anniversary of Tags Podcast on Monday night. And for those of you that listen to the show that comes out, that drops every Tuesday, we were live for a decent size audience.
It was great.
It was a lot of fun. It was a culmination of just really celebrating the year 4. And I think what I was really trying to convey in that episode when we were just kind of reminiscing was from year 3 to 4 in general, was because we kind of started at the beginning of the year when we started this show in 2017, was that last year from 3 to 4 was totally different.
Oh, yeah?
And we used to do the show Tags Podcast with my other the setup.
Yes.
But what's really great about it, and one of the things we talked about, was we started this show in last year, and it's been great. One thing you guys might want to know is if you're watching it live, Get Vocal is undergoing a whole transformation to make this platform even more user-friendly with a few more bells and whistles. And I really love that concept. And real quickly, though, Cody, what were some of your thoughts, just if we could just dish about Monday night, and what was it like? Thank you for doing the show, too, because...
my pleasure. Anytime.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I loved having all 4 of us there, being with Jeremy and Lincoln. It was, and of course you, it was so amazing. And I got to feel the vibe, even through the computer screen here. And it was just amazing. It was so good to have all 4 of us up and live together. It was great. I want to do it again sometime soon.
It was really magical, I thought, in a lot of ways. I know my sister out in California was watching it in the afternoon because we were live at 6 p.m. Eastern time. She took a minute out. I had some friends in LA watching it, which was a lot of fun. One funny note that I thought was kind of funny for those of you who didn't watch it. By the way, you can watch it on our YouTube channel. It's up right now. Go to youtube.com/Tags Podcast and you can see it there. Subscribe and like it while you're up there, because that only makes us look good.
That's right. Let us know you love us. Okay.
Because when you like, we look better. We perform better.
Right.
But one of the things that I thought was a crack up was our co-host Jeremy Ross Lopez, who took like the better part of the first part of the show, getting him logged on.
He's so cute.
So cute. It was cute for the first 5 minutes. But then we were like, my producer in San Francisco, my sister was like, well, okay, the 3 of you are all like with backdrops, and Cody has a beautiful shirt on.
I had to dress up for the occasion, honey. I was
yeah, you look fabulous in your shirt.
I planned 3 outfits, darling. I was like, no, this is not going to read well on the screen. I was like, no, I need to be right for the 4-year anniversary.
Exactly. And then, of course, Lincoln has a perfect backdrop with his apartment and Madam X on his chest, and Jeremy is like in bed. We're like, are you going to bed at 6 o'clock?
Comfy queen. That was the comfy queen that night. And that's okay. He looked adorable, and I was so happy he was there when he finally got on it.
We had some fun guests on the show that were just like commenting on this platform. It was a lot of fun. Any other thoughts you had on topics or things celebrating the 4-year anniversary that we continue to celebrate?
I know, right? Let's keep that going. No, not really. Just it was magical, and I love being with you guys, and I love hearing everybody's opinion on everything. So, thank you for having me.
Well, lastly, one of my message points on Monday's show that I want to really continue that really relates to you guys is this year, as we turn 4, moving into year 5. I love this platform, Get Vocal, and it's all about being interactive and hearing from you guys and taking your questions. And we really want this year ahead to hear from you guys. So if you're listening to this on the podcasting platform, if you want some sex advice, solicited or not, we are here to give it to you. 4 years into this, plus a lot of dark room alleys Cody's had. We're here for you.
You weren't supposed to tell anybody about
that. The dark and dirty truths.
Actually, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. So thank you for bringing it up early.
Or if you want to weigh in on your opinion, because a lot of our shows have hot gay sex topics, and if you didn't quite hear your opinion, or you wanted to share a different slice of it, or piggyback off of what one of us all said, we want to hear from you. So what you can do is you can email me, steve@talkaboutgaysex.com. You can DM me. We are at Tags Podcast on all social media platforms, or you can simply just go to tagspodcast.com, and in the contact section is a chance for you to write your question and even be anonymous. If you just want to weigh something in or ask us for some advice, we will include it in the next week's episodes for sure. That is our mission this year. Very excited about that. And lastly, I wanted to, if we get more people on today, our sponsor is adamstoybox.com. And you can get all kinds of toys on there, from everything. I mean, just imagine the toys.
I'm logging on now.
We want to let you know we may do a giveaway this evening for you listeners here, but we will continue to do them because we've got some toys to give to you and for being listeners and participants of the show. I've got some trivia questions later on the show if people are listening. Otherwise, you can just go to Adam.
Can I win?
No. Sorry, our lawyers say no, and but I'm not worried about you, Cody, Maurice. But just real quick, you can go to adamstoybox.com, and everything is 20% off if you use our promo code TAGS, TAGS, at checkout. You will get 20% off any of the toys in your order, so check that out. And with that, let's just do a little Black History Month moment that I wanted to talk about. And, you know, The Advocate was talking about this. I thought this was really breakthrough, and we just had to talk about it because it affects us all. As The Advocate states, the election of Kamala Harris as the first female Black South Asian VP was a joyous and noteworthy event. There were many new leadership demands, new ways of operating. We can say in our own community that we've only recently begun to address bigotry within our ranks, and that includes Black executive leadership in the LGBT movement. So for the first time in history, 3 of the national legacy LGBTQ equality organizations, so we're talking about the National LGBTQ Task Force, the Human Rights Campaign, and lastly, the National Center for Lesbian Rights, will be led by Black executive directors.
Nice.
This has been a demand from activists of color for decades and is the result of a lot of hard work that includes protests, marching, and you guys know everything that's been going on. I don't have to tell you. What do you think about this monumental thing? I think we have to call this stuff out. I know that in Tags Podcast, we keep announcing some of these big monumental feats of Pete Buttigieg being a secretary nominee, and I think it's important when we do, because they really do affect our rights and what leadership means. What did you think when you heard, as a biracial man yourself, three Black leaders in leading major organizations that relate to LGBTQ?
I think it's amazing, and I think it's something that needs to be applauded, because it is something that's new, and that we're on the verge of a new frontier, I feel like. But I am not surprised that it took this long for it to happen, or that it happened this year, especially with all of the protests and the Black Lives Matters things, inequality for Black people that were going on this year. And that's not to say that the leadership has been wrong or lacking in the past, but what I am saying is that our community requires a more expansive and diverse leadership because of the nature of our community, because there's so many different kinds of people that are in it. And I think that finally we are getting to a place where that is becoming a reality. We as gay people are not just cis white men. There's so many things that go into that. And for a long time, like, that has been what has been our leaders. Well, there have been lots of leaders in the community, but I feel like it's been pockets of leadership. So over here, you have the Black leaders in the Black community, Black lake community. And over here, you have lesbians and things of that nature, and so on and so forth. So I think that a lot of that has shown a lot of division in our community. And I think it's time for that to stop. We need to present a united front and really come together as a community so that we can move forward as a community and really get our needs addressed. What do you think?
I totally agree with that. And I think leadership on that kind of level that has to do with our LGBTQ major task force trickles down. And, you know, we've had on our show Corey Harmon, who is such an advocate as an African-American gay man in the leather BDSM world, running for various Mr. Rock Bear and winning, and how he's discussed how important it was for presence of a Black bear in the community to be a leader of in our BDSM world. I think on when it happens, we applaud it in our kind of our going out and our sexuality, but we forget that leadership continues to trickle up, like you just stated beautifully, in major leadership roles.
Thank you, darling.
In major leadership that affect all of us. And so I think the more people, and especially young people, can see African Americans in leadership roles, it can only have a positive effect and represent. And those viewpoints, leadership is all about having different viewpoints. And if you can see it, you can dream it, you can believe it. And it's not just about seeing that big dick and thinking that I can see it, I can dream it, but
I mean, we as a people are multifaceted.
We multitask.
And I can see a big dick and want to suck it, and then also fight for my rights and equality. So
absolutely.
I got it all. I am every gay man.
Bravo. Well, we got to move on. We don't have a lot of time here. I do have to talk about this next story real quick, and we are going to go through it actually pretty well. Let's not. Let's go.
That's like in 1 minute, girl.
You know what? Let's save it. It's a good one, but you know what? Don't worry. I think our next topic is actually a little tidbit on this show. We overproduced the show on purpose, knowing that sometimes we're going to have a little bit more juicier topics, and the rest of the show is going to get juicy. I guarantee it. I'm excited about it, and we'll just get that topic. It just gets pushed into another one if it even makes sense, or it doesn't. We are about to start Vulnerable Voices, a thing that we started at the beginning of doing Tags Live, and I wanted to talk about performance anxiety today.
And I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah?
My name is Jasmine Masters, and I have something to say.
Okay, I love it. I mean, at first, when you first hear, everybody thinks performance anxiety is, oh, what, you can't get it up. I mean, that's where everyone's mind goes. Essentially, I think. And there is something to be said about that. And I want to talk about that in a minute. But my first question to you, Cody, is with performance anxiety could also mean, could you perform? And could you ever do porn? Putting you on the spot.
I know we're going to go to that one right on the first bat. But yes, well, no, I could not do porn, but I wish that I could. Like, I would be making so much money because, like, I've been told that I am good in bed. I don't come quickly.
Okay. But can you come when it's needed?
See, that's the thing. I don't know if I could. That's another thing. I don't know if I could do that.
Well, see, I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine, and he was saying, I said, yeah, it's a big deal when you have directors and there's a budget and everyone's waiting on you. And it's like, they might let you slide once or twice, but if it's one too many times, you're going to get branded as, he doesn't really perform that well. And they're just going to go to the next guy because there's so many people that can perform. And there's a few tricks of the trade I know that if you're probably a good performer, you will learn them. But time is money.
And tell me, because I need to know.
Well, this is why you probably are not going into porn. And the reason I wouldn't go into porn is because I'm too concerned about light and the visual. And
that was going to be my point too. I was going to say that I am so concerned with what I look like on camera that I probably couldn't do it. It's a camera for me that really, it does not allow me to perform.
The other, Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
No.
I was going to say, because I feel like I have the perfect average porn star dick. Thank you very much.
Wait, let's just repeat that again. You have the perfect average porn star dick. I think I know what you mean, but please describe it for the listening audience.
Size and girth, and it the way it's angled. I think that it's perfect for porn. It would read very well on screen. That's just what I think I watch a lot of porn. I've done the research, basically, is what I'm saying.
Thank you, Aaron. He says we are totally porn star ready.
Thank you, Aaron.
But the thing is, performing, and I don't think I could actually do it. I mean, I've tried to do it in my apartment here a few times and film myself.
I was going to say, have you filmed yourself?
I have.
How has that worked out?
You know, the times when it was just, I was away and a friend of mine filmed me with somebody else. I think I was so into the moment of this guy that I blocked out that there was an iPhone filming me. And I've looked at it and I look like I'm in the moment. And if there's more cameras, it would probably have been a hot scene. So I guess I could do it. I think there is one thing that comes to mind that I was reading recently about. It's funny. The conversation has turned more to OnlyFans guys, and they have said,
I know what you're going to say,
that they find it because now it's fans, right? And people have more connection and closeness to these guys. So one performer on OnlyFans stated that he only really thinks he's going to date other OnlyFans or porn star types because people kind of fan out or expect them to appear, because it's all an illusion when you're doing porn and it's lights, camera, action. And even the OnlyFans that may seem like they are happening of the moment, they're really not. They were planned. I mean, a guy I follow on OnlyFans said my doctor and I have always had this crushing on each other, and I think today I'm his last appointment, and I'm gonna go in there. And I kind of believed. I think there was a semblance of reality to what I ended up watching, but he definitely had his two cameras going. And
how do you have time to set that up?
And it just like
spontaneous.
And maybe it really is his doctor, but maybe they staged it on like a Saturday afternoon when no one was in the office, but it sounded better to build it up like he was the last appointment. Because doctors could lose their license on something like this, I'm sure. And so, anyways, I think that, what do you think of the idea that if you were doing porn guys only date within their worlds?
I think that it would be easier for them to date only in their world, but because the OnlyFans performers know what it's like to be an OnlyFans performer, and they can completely relate. So I can see how it would be advantageous for them to date an OnlyFans performer.
I hear you. All right. So with performance anxiety, so many of us have been not getting dick or ass in this pandemic, or if we have, it's been few and far between. Certainly not if you were somebody like you and I that used to visit a couple spots.
I was going to say,
let me just speak for myself, where I would get out and about a little bit more and see a lot more dick. At least, whether or not I participated, I saw a lot more dick. And I guess my next point in my outline here for tonight's performance anxiety.
You have notes?
I have notes. Do you think that some of us might have anxiety that we might be rusty in bed? Because if you haven't had sex in a while with the way and practiced a lot of it, or do you think it's more, or do you disagree, Cody? And do you think it's more like riding a bike and you are back at it? Boom, chicka, boom, boom.
So that is something that I've definitely been afraid of. With all that's been going on, I become like reliant on porn specifically, to where it's not even really doing that much for me anymore.
Okay. Well, we've talked about that on this show and other,
Exactly. So I actually had to take a break from porn, and I had to do this thing that's called sexual visualization meditations. And that's when you meditate and you envision going through the sexual experience. And that really helped me. So I'm really, really scared that that the rust is going to show when I actually have to perform sexually. Yes.
Now, a question for you, because we've had different people on the show. Finn Dearhart comes to mind. Even Lincoln, our co-host, has talked about it. When you say that you have to visualize, you said you had an overconsumption of porn. Is it that you feel like you can only get off with the visuals that you're seeing in porn, and you don't think that any scenario that you happen to meet up with somebody is going to live up to that? Is that what it's about?
I feel like because you are so disconnected from the actual physical act of sex, that it becomes foreign to you, basically. And it doesn't do the same thing as it did before. And porn has become the substitute for actually touching somebody, kissing somebody, licking somebody, all of these wonderful things that we do during sex. And sex, I've had to tell myself before, I've written myself notes, and I do like a print and post thing, that sex is fun. And that's something I had to completely remind myself, as far as when it came to me being desensitized to sex. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you on comparing ourselves to porn and the guys in porn, and in a pandemic, we're watching so much porn. But
it was great at first, but now
I would say, because we've had people on the show like that. I've done a lot of the tactics. Finn Dearhart, one of my favorite guests of the show, and a friend of mine, sex and intimacy coach, and he talks a lot about date night with yourself, and it's all about exploring your body. Something's going to come up in a little next topic, but about really getting reacquainted with your body. So in other words, not reaching for the porn. I also had this conversation with another friend of mine who's been on the show, Sebastian Lacaze. And the idea for this is to take a night for yourself. And we have a lot more nights like to ourselves than we did before. Don't immediately go to the porn. It's okay if you ultimately do. No one's watching or judging you. And ultimately, take date night with yourself, if you will. Put on the great music that you means something to you, that's sensual. Use the mirror. Find different areas. Both Finn and Sebastian and I've done this exercise myself. Toys are a biggie that you can play with, but learning the intimacy and the experience of just touching yourself, and not just your dick or your ass, which is obvious, but your feet, your nipples, your hand, the side of your face, and elongate that process so it becomes more tantric, and you can really find that you have sensitivity, and it's a really good exploration and date night with yourself to do, particularly in these times when we're not out and about so much, and you can really explore different sides of yourself and sense places on your body that can really react. And it's a fabulous, amazing exercise that's so exploratory. I highly recommend it, and can be something that may give you less performance anxiety. It may actually want you to explore new things when we do meet up with new people.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
I just want to ask you really quick though, what do you think about the moment of climax, like when you ejaculate? Or do you have a fear of being rusty when it comes to that as well? I mean, I do. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
You're talking about when you're with somebody? Yeah. Yes. So if I could share a story that where my old performance anxiety as being more of a bottom, when I have tried to top people like my dick and they wanted me to go there, I hadn't done a lot of topping before. And when I would get close, I could get hard. And then when I would get close to the ass, my dick would just naturally go down. And it was this mental thing that, and there's that pressure that you put on yourself, especially if you're not accustomed to being a top.
Oh, yeah.
So there are toys that I've been exploring in this entire year pandemic that are really exploring with the toys that look like an ass and are lubricated and really get you going in that way, that I think are keeping the sensations going, and just kind of meditating too on not being so like I have to perform and it's the end all be all.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's okay, that if, I think I just put too much pressure on myself. So coming out of this, I hope to be a lot more versatile and explore a lot of my topping abilities and skills as a 50-year-old man.
Okay. Look at we getting well-rounded in the quarantine, darling.
Yeah,
look at
right?
That.
What else are we doing here?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I wanted to so do you think that you'll be trying new things? Are you exploring anything? And if you are exploring new things that you're not used to, will it bring you anxiety, excitement, impatience because you want to try it out like now? What's your ideas of exploring new explorations of your sex life?
Look, I am always so down to explore sexually, even with things that have already, especially now, like during the quarantine. I feel like even things that I ruled out before, I kind of, like you said, like you've become more versatile during the quarantine.
Yeah.
Or
I hope to be, yeah. In my mind.
Exactly.
I fuck this endurance stroker here.
It works.
It works.
Anything works.
Yes.
A hole is a hole. That's what I've heard. Okay.
Right.
And I feel like things that I ruled out before, I want to go back and see if I like it now, because I've changed it since I've turned 20 years old. Exactly.
What was that? I couldn't hear the age.
Oh, something must be wrong with my microphone.
Yeah.
So yeah, things that I ruled out before, I'm definitely down to try. What about you? Are you going to be trying new things sexually or
Well, like I
exploring?
said, I think I'm going to be exploring more and not worrying so much and getting in my head about
Okay.
topping if it comes up, but also not putting pressure on myself. I think the pandemic is really, there's going to be a dual side where my last question, which I don't think we have enough time, was do you think you'll be having lots of sex post pandemic? As we reported on before, do you think that there'll be a new roaring 20s happening, not immediately, but as we
Yeah.
reported on the New York Times, as it uncoils? So like 2022, 23, people will have saved a lot of money. People will finally and be thinking, oh my God, I want to just like have as much sex. And maybe, but I think I might have moments like that. But I don't think
Hmm.
I'm going to go back to how I was either. I think it's going to be a
Really?
hybrid. Yeah, because I've always been a loner in a lot of ways and liked my own
Okay.
company. And I've really had to learn about that in this pandemic. But yeah, I think it's going to be a hybrid of all of those things. So
Completely understand.
shout out to Silas right now
Hi,
who
Silas.
cut up this shirt for me that I love. This is we did that one late night and it was so fun. And it's really cute in the back, which I can't turn around, but he did an amazing job. I'm locked in this box here, but thanks. Yes, lots of drinks.
We're doing a show here.
We had a lot of fun that night. All right. Well, we had to talk about this last, getting back into hot gay sex topics. And there's a Reddit story chain going out there that asks the question, do you ever
Mhm.
get turned on by your own genitals or your body? You
Okay.
ever you ever look down at your body or your dick and get horny, they ask. And it's turned into a huge chain of I want to hear about you. I'm just going to read a few of the commentary.
Okay.
So somebody wrote, I'm out of my own league, so I don't. I thought that was
Yeah,
hilarious.
I read that one. That
I'm
was
out
so
of my
funny.
own league. A lot of people had the similar feeling that Shadow Play wrote all the time, even with my own smells. And there was a whole chain of people that wrote as in response to the last one, oh my God, I thought it was just me who turns on my own underarm and ball smells. Definitely somebody wrote on that chain.
There's pheromones in there.
Definitely
Pheromones.
my pit. Somebody wrote that's super weird. Somebody wrote, God, no, I love my pit smell. I did once have a guy send me a text and tell me to wash my pits next time we meet, as they were slightly whiffy.
What?
I blocked him, he says. You know what? So here's an interesting thing on that one, and I'll read a few more. Is
Okay.
the pits, the smell of your pits and all that is an interesting thing. I've told people I go to the Eagle in New York City and they love it. Like they hate when guys in general wear deodorant.
Okay.
And I actually do like deodorant and I don't like a totally ripe smell. It just doesn't work for me. And
Not totally
sorry,
right.
what?
But a little bit of man musk
A little bit,
is
yeah, a
delicious.
little bit, but not
Yeah.
so ripe. No, I can't, and that's just me. And it makes I start like feeling like I'm going to throw up. And no, I'm dramatic that way, and I am what I am. But I applaud those that like it. But don't get mad at me for wearing deodorant. Like there's people get really mad at all that kind of thing too. It's like no,
Swipe left and
no.
keep it pushing.
Yeah, you can't swipe at the
Yeah.
bar, but yeah, I could
I
swipe
just
them
meant
for saying that and move on, but I would get me kicked out of the bar, which has been done, and I prefer to stay.
Hey.
I just want to go to the bar. But yeah, I just think a few other the smells and the ball. I've actually put like my hand. A lot of people were talking about the smell of their balls, and I put my hand down just like watching TV and found myself, who am I? Like, what am I in a frat? Right? And then smelled it and like,
Al
oh,
Bundy.
I need a shower before I go to bed. So smells like that don't do it for me.
I love it.
What
I love it.
what turns you? And I'll tell a little bit more. I've talked way too much. What
Oh yeah.
turns you on about yourself or not?
So when I was like, Okay, I have to tell this story on on the show. So this isn't necessarily about me getting turned on about my body, but there have been several times, and when I say several, I mean more than 5, more times than one hand. When I've been out in a club or a place where you check out guys with lots of mirrors, and I've looked across the bar and I thought, oh my God, that man is really, really cute. I should go over and talk to him.
Stop.
Do you know where this is going?
Right now? I don't think I could roll my eyes behind my head as much as I can right now, but continue on, Missy. And it turns out it was me.
How'd you know the end of my story?
That's fine.
It's happened to be so many times.
Okay, but what about more like we got it? You like, and it's probably like you date guys that look like yourself, and it's all very. When we see you next time,
I date all kinds of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, I have gotten turned on looking at my body several times. More recently and more occasionally, it's been if I'm doing like a Snapchat video for somebody and I'm masturbating in the Snapchat, I have a problem with the camera. So like the camera kind of makes me a little bit limp. Okay. So if I'm looking in the camera, I start to get a little limp, but then I look at my beautiful porn star dick.
Okay.
And that gets me aroused, and I'm able to actually, get to that point of climax.
I think what a lot of the responders and commenters on the Reddit chain were essentially saying was that ultimately being attracted to yourself or being turned on by yourself is a good thing. It's empowering because
it is.
What is RuPaul? If you don't love yourself, how in the heck? And I love that. And I think you have to, first of all, in terms of organs, there's only so much, I loved what you said earlier on in the show. I love my perfectly average. What did you say? I don't want
to. Average porn star dick.
Okay.
Yep.
Porn star dick. I thought you were going to
roll your eyes any harder.
Actually, I could, but we don't have time for it. But yeah, I think it's important to like your organs because those are what you are blessed with, and those are what you have to work with, and that's really. I love that people are really loving theirs. I think with body, you can, for the most part, you can change and work on your body to get it to. And as all our gurus, we've talked about them on the show, say, there is no perfect body. Because if you got the perfect body, where are you to go from there? So I think there's times when I've looked at my body in the mirror and be like, okay, now. And then I've gone on 10-week programs of training that either my trainer gave to me or I gave to myself. And I could see a result that I like. And then it's like I've shifted it. I had my 50th and then I shifted it to a whole new, but you layer in new things. So for me, I've layered in, I'm now 50 and love how I look now. I don't need to look like I looked like at 40 when I had a different metabolism, but I can still look a fabulous 50 that's right for me, not compared to J-Lo. I know I always say J-Lo. I don't know why I always I always feel like, oh, J-Lo is perfect. That's enough. I know, and enough of her. But
she looks amazing. Let's just put that out there. J-Lo looks stellar.
All right. But yeah,
she is body goals, and she's not even a man.
She is, and I love it. And so, I mean, in terms of sexually, back to the last topic that we were talking about, the exercise that my friend Finn Deerhart talked about, and my friend Sebastian Lacoste talked about, date night for yourself or exploring your body. You ultimately, in those tantra exercises that are about you in connection with your body, are ultimately a relationship on how you see your body. And the Reddit conversation is a lot more like obvious, like, what do you think of when you see your dick in the mirror, and are you turned on by it? But related to the last topic, it's actually, you can have an elongated, more empowering, more spiritual, sexual, spiritual tantric experience with your body. You can learn new things. You can be attracted to your nipples if they have sensations that you explored that you didn't know you even had, but you took the time to explore that, and now they bring you pleasure. I've talked about it on the show before. For a long time, people were like, "Oh, your nipples are big," and some guys loved it. And now and in reading my book behind my left shoulder over here, Tama Finland, he really, I was reading a chapter the other day, he really emphasized the aorta and overdid it because he thought that was such a beautiful sexual thing of the male body. And for so long, I was always like, they're too big. But so we change, I think, throughout the years. And
yeah, definitely through media and being exposed to certain things, we definitely evolve as far as our sense of what is attractive and what's beautiful. Because I think Tama Finland has even expanded my view on what is beautiful and what's attractive sexually.
Listeners, we want to hear from you. Watchers, Silas, I would love to hear from you on, you work out so much. You're such a madman. I know I'm putting you on the spot. You could totally say F you, but interesting if you want to share. Are you attracted when you see your own, what was it? What's the genitals, right? Do you ever get turned on by
body or genital?
Well, yeah. Do you ever get turned on by your own genitals or bodies? Well, he's responding, hopefully. What do you think, Cody, about all the Reddit responders that talked a lot about smell?
I love it. I'm a little bit ripe today, actually.
TMI.
Look, we're in quarantine. I don't have to smell good for anybody right now but myself. So, and I'm over here feeling like Silas said in the comments, I'm feeling a fantasy over here. I feel great.
Well, you gotta love this one Reddit commenter that said, I made a clone of my own dick and have used it on myself. So I guess, yeah.
How? And somebody commented, "Go F yourself," and I was like, "Yes,"
in a good way, in a good way,
in the best way.
Well, isn't that kind of amazing? I mean, I think it's just there's a couple ways that you could do it. It comes with plaster, and I think, to me, I don't know that I would want it. It would be a little too narcissistic. Although, if I could, I've seen a good porn before that. If you can, and I don't know how they do it, where guys fuck themselves, and yeah, their dick is long enough that they can.
Like it would hurt.
I would totally do that. I was totally, but the thing is, I feel like you have to kind of get it hard. And did you just look back because I was too loud?
No, because I have because I have something that I want to say, and I know that after I say it, you're gonna come for me.
Well, I've seen in these, like, you can, if the guy in these videos, the guys that have fucked themselves with their own dick, the dick is not fully erect, but it's like semi. So how they stop it? Maybe they stop it with a cock ring to the point where, because it still has to be pliable enough to bend down, but it can't be soft that it doesn't. What?
It sounds like it would hurt.
It's your own dildo. I'm gonna work on that one, and I'm gonna. Listeners, I'm gonna work on this one and see if I can do it, because I think
report back.
I will report back. There's a class too on one of my sites. I get all the MMX NYC that does yoga, but they teach you to get closer and closer to ultimately give yourself a blowjob. And they don't promise, thank God. I mean, smartly, they don't say, and at the end of the course, you will be like sucking your own cock. No, they say, even if you don't get to that point, which many of us will not, you will find new flexibility, which I love. I love the caveat and the fine print that they said, before you take this course and spend the money, not everybody comes out with a degree and sucks their own cock.
It's like a medical commercial.
We're keeping it real.
The side effects are.
But the whole process.
Aram says he wouldn't get out of bed if he could have sex with himself by folding over his dick. So I
Oh.
wanted to say the reason I looked behind me was because if I could clone myself and have sex with myself, I would definitely clone myself and have sex with myself.
Drop the mic now.
That's why I was like, you're going to read me. That's why I looked behind me. I was like, I needed support from whoever was back there because Silas said he would too. How about that?
You two narcissists?
Thank you, Silas.
I don't even know what that even means or sounds like. I mean,
let's explore, boo. Let's explore.
Maybe in a really I think in a really psychological weird way, if you could clone yourself and you knew you and you could kind of go there with yourself because you knew what you liked. Psychologically, I think I could go there because I knew as the clone. Am I the robot or the real one? Who am I? I'm all about fembots and clones and Bionic Woman and all that kind of stuff.
You're thinking way too hard about this. You're like,
if I knew what I liked, I think I could totally be the clone that could please my other side.
Oh, okay.
It sounds a little too twins-like, and I have a thing against. I don't like twins. I've said it before on the show. Audience hate me. I'm not a fan of twins. Sorry if you're a twin.
Is where we draw the line because they're actually brothers. But if I could actually clone myself, then we wouldn't be brothers. You would be my clone made for me. For the specific act of being for me. So it's different.
It's a bold statement, Cody. It's a bold statement. And yeah, can I quote you on that and put it on our tagspodcast.com? If, quote,
not this as
Cody Maurice Doggett, co-host, Tags Live, quote, if I could clone myself, I would have sex with myself in a minute. End of quote.
Do not make this the thumbnail when you when you promote this, okay?
You know I want to. That's so my.
I know you want to.
Oh my God! Do we have any more comments on this crazy ass? It's a fun question to ask yourself.
Aram says it's all about being in sync. Silas says that he is fun, so he knows what he would like. And he doesn't judge, and he's agreeing with me 100%.
Answer me this question, you guys, because you, I know, Cody, are more top.
Okay.
If you're cloning yourself, two tops don't make a right. You didn't think about that. You didn't think about that.
I did not think about that. This is getting
that's
more
why
and
I'm
more
here.
As we go.
My book comes out this year, y'all.
You know what? I did not think about this before we went into this conversation.
It.
Now I'll think about it. Silas said he would be more inclined to try new things, and I agree with you.
Or you're a robot clone. You or your robot clone, Silas.
We would both be able to bottom at some point. So I think.
But is one like a robot and one's really you? That's what
You know what? I think that's what we should say. I think that's going to get me out of this moral conundrum.
When you didn't want to go on a date or a meeting, could you send your clone?
Oh my God, that
would
be
today, girl. You go, and you would just type in, and then here go.
I could be at home in slippers, and
you could watch them. You could watch them on the camera to make sure they're not fucking up and say certain things. I'm making this science fiction here. I don't know where I'm going with all this.
Cyrano de Bergerac for the future. I'm about this life.
Oh my God. And with that, we are so much fun, as always, with you, Cody Maurice Doggett. Absolutely. Once again, a reminder, you can get 20% off our sponsor, adamstoybox.com. Get 20% off of everything. Use our promo code TAGS, TAGS. We're going to have some promos on there. Thank you, Aram. Thank you, Silas. It's been wouldn't be as much fun without you guys on. We feel like you should have been in the spots with us here.
It's been like,
I know. Super fun. Cody Maurice Doggett, follow you at Mista Maurice, Mistah Maurice on Instagram, and tell everybody about your coaching that you do.
I'm a life coach. You can follow me on KMD Coaching and just hit me up and we'll talk about rates and what life coaching really means and all the things that get into it, the nitty gritty.
Wear your mask, wash your hands, but keep it sexy, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh, stop broadcast. That's what I got to do.